Hello, welcome. If you go to the description below, there should be a link to the PDF that you see here. It'll open up off my Google Drive. And also, if you go in the upper right, you have my permission download as well. So there's just, I'm seeing more and more people espousing this whole idea of a 360-day per year calendar. So this one's called the Ancient 360-Day per year. And it's funny they call it ancient, but I find this title very deceptive because this was never used in the scriptures at all. There's no evidence whatsoever. There's no merit to this whatsoever. And what's interesting, you got a lot of pages here. And there's only 3 pages that actually talk about specifically a calendar. So how did they come up with this 360-day per year calendar? Now keep in mind in Genesis chapter 1, it already uses a system to go with calendar. And so that's what this video is about here. So when you go to your PDF, so you click on this here, and it'll bring you to 119 Ministries, Time, Our Creator's Calendar, the Foundation. So they go over Genesis chapter 1. So obviously Genesis 1 takes place before Genesis 7 and before Genesis 8. And so it's already established before the flood. Alrighty, which is what Genesis 7 and 8 are about. So what they do, they'll compare to Genesis 11, where the second month, 17th day of the second month, okay, where the flood began, basically, and then they compare it to 834, or 150 days later, the 17th of the 7th month, which is exactly 5 months later. It's 150 days. So they take the 150 days divided by 5 months. That's 30 days each. It doesn't even tell you whether one might be 31 days in one month, or 29 another month, or 30 another. It doesn't tell you that. And so an assumption is made, and they build a whole calendar system off of this. And there's nothing in the text that tells you to do this. It's equivalent to reading the account where Cain killed Abel. Well, that's scriptural. Cain killed Abel. Therefore, when I see a person by the name of Abel, I'm going to go kill them. It's scriptural. It doesn't tell you to do that. And the same thing here. It does not tell you that this is a calendar that you're supposed to use. The only thing that I think we should be getting out of this, at least for me, you're going to have to decide for yourself, is it's just pertinent to the flood. Alrighty, this happened after the calendar is already established in Genesis 1. It doesn't change. And so what's cool, the Jewish people, they went by Genesis 1 the whole time. Alrighty, so there's some links here. So basically, they went into Babylon captivity, and they started their calendar again there, and then which is the lunar calendar, which is the biblical calendar. And then they called it the Hebraic calendar, right, where they just renamed some of the months, alrighty. So there's links here about that, okay, Hebraic calendar, Babylonian calendar, alrighty. I encourage you to click on this, and it'll go over it for you, alrighty. So the key purpose of the video is look, exercise caution with it. That I've only talked to 2 people so far about that are really into this 360 calendar, and it's I'm just gonna be blunt. It just comes across to me as very cult-like. There's a lot of cult-like traits with their mindset. I point out to them, hey, are you aware that it's 5 days off per year? And oh yeah, they're not thinking anything of it. Are you aware that at the end of 70 weeks, 490 years, you're off by 7 years? Oh yeah. They just, it's like, so here I have a link, controversy over the prophetic calendar, some problem with it. Alrighty, and another problem is no agricultural nation could survive with this kind of error with their calendar. Alright, so it's just not wise just to go and take a couple passages, compare it that had to do with the flood, and just make a leap. Yep, just we're going to apply it to all 12 months, and we're going to just assume every month is 30 days. It's just there's just so many things wrong with that, and so. Yeah, so each person has to figure out on their own. But anyway, yeah, I think that pretty much covers it. So you have all the material that you need here. Again, I recommend this video here, and they go over they go over the Genesis 1 count of the calendar that we're be using. And as far as I know, the Jewish people used it the entire time in the New Testament, so we don't have any issues there. So might as well, and the beauty of all this, with the Hebraic calendar, it's accurate down to the hour. For example, Jesus died on the ninth hour, right? 72 hours later, remember, Jesus said, do you not know there are 12 hours in a day? So you have 3 days, 3 nights, right? 72 hours. So that brings you to the ninth hour on Saturday, alrighty? And so that's exactly 72 hours, 3 days, 3 nights. What's cool is that exactly 3.5 years later, the very end of the Daniel 70th week, the last day, you have down to the hour where the Lord appeared to Cornelius in the ninth hour, and then it's time to have some people seek for Peter. And so exactly 3 days, 2 nights later, down to the hour again, ninth hour, then Cornelius is waiting to hear from Peter the gospel. I mean, that is cool, and that's a heck of a way to end the 70th week. And now the prophecy, the promise given to Abraham, now takes off where it goes where the blessing Christ, the seed that blesses all the nations, it begins right when the moment the Holy Spirit sends on the Gentiles. That's when it takes off, right down to the hour. It just that's one thing that's interesting. But another thing that's interesting, down to the hour when Jesus would have been buried before sunset. That's when you had the Feast of Unleavened Bread. When the Hebraic calendar, exactly 40 years later, now come under the judgment for the crucifixion, right? Exactly 40 years later, not down to just a month, not down just to the week, not down to the day, but down to the hour. That's when the flood, Daniel 9:26, begins. The siege, and so, so it's definitely what the correct calendar they used. It's based on Genesis 1, and the Jewish people used it all throughout the New Testament, and all the way back to Babylonian captivity for sure. So anyway, and I'm sure there's more to be discovered. I'm only sharing with you a couple things I noticed, but it's definitely the correct calendar, Hebraic calendar. And for some reason we get all these strange ideas. Let's go with a different calendar. Why? So anyway, I think that pretty much covers all that. Like I said, there's everything that you need here. The biblical calendar, why not to use the 360-day calendar, the controversy, and a bunch of other cool calendar tools. So anyway, I hope you find this material beneficial, and I hope you enjoy your studies. And thank you for watching and taking the time to look into this. Have a great day.